Hello, you two. Thought I'd pop by and let you in on my latest scoop.
Great! What's going on?
Scotland Yard is on the brink of cracking an Ivory smuggling ring. Only sticky bit is, they're not sure which of their suspects should be charged.
Maybe we can help out. Let's get over there. Wow, Scotland Yard must be taking this case very seriously. Both Inspector Blodges and Inspector Gage are on the case.
For the last 6 months, we've been investigating an ivory smuggling operation that works out of East Africa. The culprit has been purchasing pieces of illegal ivory from Kenya and other African nations for at least a year, then smuggling them into Britain to sell on the black market. We finally got a break on the case when an informer tipped us off that the smuggler would be bringing a shipment into Heathrow Airport yesterday. We carefully searched all the baggage coming into the airport that day and came up with 3 suspects. Unfortunately, each one of them claims the ivory we found in their luggage is legal. I'm convinced that one of them is lying. If we could catch him or her in a lie, we might be able to start a case that would put an end to this smuggling ring. So far, however, their stories seem to check out. The Yard would really be grateful for a bit of eagle-eye help here.
You've got it, Inspector. We're on the case.
Britain and many other countries, including your United States, banned the import of ivory in 1989. That means that no one can bring ivory into the country at all. You see, most ivory comes from the tusks of elephants, so poachers were killing elephants by the hundreds just for their tusks. The laws against the ivory trade were made to protect the elephants, so that they would not become endangered. You could probably find out more about ivory and elephants from the lads at the Natural History Museum and the London Zoo.
I'm shocked by this accusation. I'm no smuggler. That tusk is all I have left from my childhood pet Buttercup. Buttercup was a lovely elephant, my constant companion when my parents and I lived in India. When Buttercup died, my father removed her tusk for my brother and I to keep, so that we would always remember our treasured pet. I would never have brought the tusk back to Britain had I known it would violate the law, but I assure you this tusk was legally obtained. These accusations of ivory smuggling are an outrage.
Of course I have ivory in my luggage. That's my trade. Vegetable ivory. The items I sell to Mr. Flynn at Covent Garden aren't made from any kind of animal. They're made from South American nuts. That's not illegal. I demand that you run tests to prove it.
Preposterous! Well, I never. Those knives were made for me by my old chum, Professor Ugrit. He's been experimenting with artificial ivory for years. Ugrit created the ivory for those knife handles in his laboratory in Kenya. I forbid you to run tests on them. His formula must remain top secret until he can patent it.
Hey, we're in luck. There's Mr. Potter with one of his elephants.
Yes, I'm afraid I do know a little bit about ivory poaching. More than I'd like to, actually. We get some of our young African elephants because their parents have been killed by poachers, and they would die unless people help raise them. Elephant poachers will slaughter dozens of elephants at a time just for the ivory in their tusks. It's a terrible problem in Africa where those elephants live.
Was this little elephant's mother killed?
Oh no. Mickey is an Indian elephant. His parents worked on a rubber tree farm in India.
Elephants on a farm? I thought elephants were wild. They look pretty fierce in some of the nature films I've seen.
African elephants are very aggressive. They cannot be domesticated or trained to work for humans. Those might be the ones you saw on film. But Indian elephants are a different species. They can be domesticated. Indian elephants are quite gentle really and make excellent workers. In India, elephants are often trained to do heavy work like carrying logs and tearing down trees. They're like living bulldozers, and their mahouts care for them very well.
Mahouts?
Yes, mahout. That's what an elephant trainer is called. A mahout teaches the elephant how to perform different useful tasks, feeds it, washes it, and takes care of all its needs. The mahout is the elephant's best mate.
Miss Louie said she does business with Mr. Flynn in Covent Garden. If anyone knows about her stuff, it should be him.
I've been doing business with Miss Louie for well over a year now, and she's never brought me any real ivory. If she had, I'd certainly be selling it for more than my current prices. Not that I approve of the trade, but real ivory is certainly worth a great deal more than the clever vegetable ivory copies I sell.
What exactly is vegetable ivory?
Vegetable ivory comes from the nut of the tagua palm, a South American tree. Its texture and colour is very similar to real ivory, but it is much cheaper. Everything I sell here at Great Pretender is fake. That's why it's all so cheap. I sell custom jewellery with jewels made from paste, and figurines that are nice little copies of very expensive porcelain pieces. Everything I have is clearly marked as a copy. I wouldn't try to cheat anyone, but I'd never sell a bit of the real thing as a fake. That'd be daft.
These guys belong to the same cricket team as Mr. Morley, the Bloomsbury batsman. Maybe one of them can back up his story.
Well, of course, old Snooty Morley. Known him since we were lads in India. His father and my father owned a plantation in the Punjab. Roaring great fun we had in those days, stalking tigers, exploring the old temple ruins, and messing about with the pachyderms.
Pachyderms? Those are elephants, right?
Indeed they are, scads of them. Great workers, you know, those pachyderms. I remember Snooty, that is, Mr. Morley, had a great favourite among them. Buttercup was its name. She was a lovely old girl, Buttercup, gentle as a lamb. By gum, she was a strong one, too. She could carry a tree trunk the size of a telephone pole in her trunk.
Wow.
As I recall, she was the prize worker on the plantation. Everyone was terribly sad when she died.
There's the elephant display. I bet we can learn something about ivory there.
Oh yes, elephants are marvelous. They're the largest living land animal, you know. An adult male elephant can get to be about 12 feet tall and weigh over 4 tons. They're huge beasts, but they're really quite gentle and affectionate with their own kind. In India and some other Asian countries, elephants have been domesticated or tamed and make tremendously strong helpmates in the fields. Recently, the governments of some of these countries passed strict laws to make sure the people who work with elephants treat them well. Before those laws were passed, some owners mistreated the animals and even injured them. That isn't the greatest danger elephants face, however. These days, elephants had to be protected by law in some parts of Africa because people hunt them for their ivory tusks. It's a shame, really, that elephants are hunted at all. Ivory is lovely, but nowadays some artificial ivories are so perfectly made that one can hardly tell the difference. Scientists are ever so ingenious these days. They've made excellent false ivory out of everything from plastics to an egg and milk mixture.
"60 kilograms? How much is that? Grab your Eagle Eye handbook and let's find out." Check your conversion chart and see which of these weights is closest to being equal to 60 kilograms. That's right. A male African elephant's tusks can weigh about 132 pounds each by the time he's 60. That's a lot of tusk. Let's ask Mr. Amesbury if he knows anything about Colonel Sweeney and his ivory-handled knives.
Sweeney, an ivory smuggler? Good Lord, nothing could be further from the truth. Why, old Sweeney and I have been chums since our Eton days. The man's as honourable as the day is long. On top of which the old fellow has a soft spot for the animals, don't you know? Wouldn't hurt a fly, much less an elephant.
A soft spot for animals? But the file on him at Scotland Yard said he was on safari.
Naturally. A photo safari. Sweeney blunders off to Africa for 2 weeks each year, snapping pics of rhinos, giraffes, lions and the like. Always comes back loaded with film and sunburnt as a crab.
We've got this ivory mystery by the tusks. Pick the clues that you think point out which suspect is lying. Those are the clues we needed. Now point out the person that you think is the ivory smuggler. You've got it! Mr. Morley was lying about where he got that elephant tusk. Mr. Morley told the police that the tusk they found in his luggage was from his pet elephant, Buttercup. Mr. Morley did have an elephant named Buttercup, but Buttercup was an Indian elephant, a female Indian elephant. But we learned that female Indian elephants don't have tusks. The tusk in Mr. Morley's luggage was 4 feet long. It couldn't be from his pet elephant Buttercup. He was lying.